Vandag in StroomStories gesels ons met Sean en Jacqueline, co-founders van The Olive Tree. En ek gaan heel eers vra dat hulle net 'n bietjie van hulle self vertel, bietjie met ons deel, ons agterkom wie en wat is hulle, waar het hulle groot geword, waar het hulle gaan studeer en dan gaan ons bietjie meer praat oor die Olive Tree School. Nou, maar kom ons begin. Sean, as ons daar by jou kan begin.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. Sean Troutman, born and raised here in Potchefstroom. Been here for 43 years. And funny enough, met my lovely wife studying here in Potchefstroom as well. Currently a business person in the community and also a counsellor for Ward 24. And a passionate parent. And yeah, sitting with my lovely wife for some support and talking about our school.
Awesome.
I'm Jacqueline Troutman. I originated from Orkney. I grew up there. I went to school in Klerksdorp. And then I moved to Potchefstroom to come and study at Vusilela College. And that's where I met Sean, my husband. And I'm a web and graphic designer at Gizmo Office Solutions. And yeah, and we have our school and yeah.
Okay. Ons het in die begin genoem, hulle is die co-founders van die Olive Tree School en ek gaan hulle heel eers vra, wat het julle geïnspireer om dit van die grond af op te bring, om die hele ding te begin van die Olive Tree School? En dan gaan ons dan net daarna gesels oor wat dit ook is.
Well, we found out the hard way that our daughter Olivia is autistic or on the autism spectrum disorder. And funny enough, it was during the COVID period when we were all kind of locked in at home.
Yeah.
We'd already known the diagnosis before that, you know, but as a family, I think we were trying to deal with this. And funny enough, we were sitting at home, you know, trying to, as everybody was during that lockdown period, just bide time. And we're going through some photos. And my son, who's now grade 7 at Central, you know, he was looking at the grade 1 photos, you know, how small he was. And it kind of bid on the two of us that, you know, that moment was going to approach for that day, you know, where you see everybody doing the day 1 pictures, that this wasn't going to happen for us with Olivia, you know, and we were uncertain where she was going to go because there was places in Potch, but, you know, the lists were so long and they didn't exactly cater for her needs.
Okay.
And it basically spurred from my son saying, you know, Mom, Dad, you know, what are we going to do about Olivia? And from there it started mulling this idea until we kind of came together as a family, together with my folks, Rob and Sharon Troutman, and we decided, you know what, let's just build a school, let's make a school, let's do something, you know, let's be proactive about it. And from there, my father went and spoke to Eliza Meyer, who was at that stage the just passed principal of Girls High, and she climbed on aboard immediately. And together with Madeline Daly, who was doing the marketing for Daly at that stage, also climbed on board. And we all sat and we took hard decisions. We looked each other in the eye and we said, guys, we've got a couple of months. This was now 2021 when things started getting back to normality.
Okay.
And we said, guys, we're going to do this. And Mrs. Mayer was, if anybody in Potch knows her, she was quite adamant. Come January 2022, the school will be open. At that stage, we didn't have a venue. We had no money. We had no bank accounts. We had nothing. But we had a vision, which was the olive tree, named after Olivia, and the seed was planted in our mind that we were going to do this. And yeah, we are. We're still kicking and helping families that were just in the same boat as us. In 2025, we're still going.
Wow. So somewhere in the beginning, you mentioned something that stood out, and is that the schools that were currently here in Potch, the list was too long, and you saw that what was already there didn't fit the need you experienced with your own child, and that inspired you to create Olive Tree, keeping in mind that you know what the needs are and you want to factor that into the school's education system in the structure. What did you find is the most basic essentials, the things you can see in your own child and other child that also has autism, knowing that you need this in a school in order for that child to be self-sufficient afterwards?
Individual attention.
Okay.
They need a lot of attention, a lot of love.
Okay.
And you need patience as well, because not all of them can communicate
Yeah.
verbally. So it's just it's very emotional for me to talk about it.
If you go on a day-to-day basis or in the morning, not every child on the spectrum is the same.
Okay.
The spectrum, for viewers that aren't familiar with autism, it's so wide. I mean, a guy like Elon Musk is on the spectrum. He's like the most cleverest guy on Earth and one of the richest guys, right? And then you've got the other side of the spectrum where a child is totally non-verbal, or you have another one, like I'm sitting here with a light now in my eyes, won't be able to handle it. Some won't want touch, you know. So the school is catering for all of them. I mean, I know it's rather funny. You'll come there in the morning, and it honestly takes the teachers about an hour to get everybody on the same vibe before they can start teaching. Because one little guy is going, you know, I don't want to leave mom, and other one's running this way, so to get them all calm and selective. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint the exact need because each child is individual. So at the Olive Tree, it's very one-on-one teaching. The classes are quite small, and then you've got a teacher assistant and then a teacher. So at some stages, you've even got 3 people attending to one class of maybe only 3 children.
Yeah.
You know, and if there's a meltdown, there is sensory rooms where and occupational therapy, where the children can then be removed from the classroom to go in what you would call a time out, and then carry on with the teaching. Yeah.
Sounds like a more complicated structure than your normal mainstream schools. So you start, Jacqueline, you mentioned like it's more of a one-on-one small group sessions, more understanding, more hearing, more listening, listening from both ways.
Yes.
And what does the typical school day look like in the Olive Tree?
Well, when you get there in the morning, it's mostly the kids are unwinding. It's we've been open since 2022, and most children that are there are from 2022, from January.
Okay.
So they've already been structured, so they know by 9:30 they're going to get it's snack time. You know, then it's lunchtime, and then they will sit at their table, won't make a sound because this time they know it's their snack time. It's completely quiet at the school, especially at the times when they're going to go and eat, because they sit at their table. That is where they sit, and they're just quiet, and they sit quietly waiting for their food to come. They're all on computers, on laptops that were gifted to the school. And they love laptop time because we have educational programs on there, and the school is so well structured. So as soon as a new child comes in, it takes between up to 3 months for them to get structured at certain times, and this is the times that they eat, that they learn. Then it's maths, then it's English, then it's computers, then it's break. You know, just like any other school. So, and they like structure. And once you move that structure, it's going to be a meltdown.
Chaotic.
It's going to be chaos.
Routine.
So if they're in that routine, you stick by that routine. And that's what they know. And it makes our school, I think, also, it's unique because, you know, everybody expects autistic kids are wild, but they're not. They just need that structure because they might not like it in the beginning, but after 3 months, they'll be in that structure and
they can continue.
Continue with school.
Yeah, just to add on there, if you think of mainstream school, think of it as a big lake, you know, with all the fishies that are swimming quite nicely, and some of these fishies, unfortunately, these autistic kids, they aren't swimming so lekker, so they're not going with the mainstream. So Olive Tree, if you want to put a play on words of it, would be kind of like this fishbowl, where they come to get that routine and learn. Because we've had children that come to the school, and maybe it could be 3 months, 6 months, or a year, and then they go and they fit into mainstream school. and Bob's your uncle, and they're learning an A for away.
Wow. Okay.
So we kind of need to rephrase it that, we're not really losing kids, but almost as a form of graduation where
yes.
in Afrikaans hulle sê daai hupstoot. That's
Okay.
all that they needed. And, we're glad to say that the olive tree has helped many children to be that hupstoot to get to mainstream school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost like a catalyst, just
Yeah.
to sort everything out, give structure, give routine, give that self-confidence maybe even, and then just make them ready for the next step in life.
Yes.
Yes, it is
We
like
can see it in our own daughter.
Yeah,
I never thought
I wanted
she'd-
to ask about Olivia.
she'd even
Yeah.
pour her own bath water or
Okay.
be able to, well, she just still needs to dress herself. She only does it with her, like when her dad tells her, she will do it. But so the things that she can do today, I never ever thought she could have done it. And I'm so grateful that we did this because she's grown so much and she's becoming more verbal. So she was like complete mute, like not saying anything. And now the words are just coming. So she's turning 10 in June. Oh, well, soon, 10. And it's amazing how far she's come.
Yeah. And she's attending Olive Tree.
Yes.
Yeah, for her namesake, the
Yeah,
olive
I mean,
tree.
yeah.
The reason we planted the seed, like Jacqueline said, I mean, it's such amazing transformation. I can remember, feeling hopeless at one stage, and this light at the end of the tunnel, from even the first 3 months from the start of the school, stuff like that you take for granted, like fine motor skills, of grabbing a pencil or that she couldn't do at that stage, that she was doing already in 3 months.
Oh, okay.
And we talk about a vocab of maybe now something like 250 words. It's very selective to try and hear, but when she talks, she does talk. For us, the language and interpretation has come as a family. But from where she is to where she is now, it's leaps and bounds. And I've seen it with the other children that have been, we can call them the founding children as well. From where they started to where they are now, it's unbelievable. So the school is amazing.
Just it's amazing to know that just one idea, one initiative made something so big like the Olive Tree today, because now you have a school full of autism kids that can finally have this one place where they can build the necessary skills and just have that, let's use the word, graduation phase in their life. It's like I'm ready for the mainstream school now, or I'm ready to tackle this part of life now. I can use cognitive skill or even sensory and better motoring skills. En ek wil 'n bietjie vra oor daai, en dis die kognitiewe ontwikkeling van die kinders by die skool. That cognitive building blocks that you teach the kids at Olive Tree. What do you use there?
Well, we have the sensory room and we have the occupational therapy room.
Okay, so
There are some kids that that are with balance. If you move them too fast, they.
Okay.
So our assistant teachers, they normally take the kids at break time, or if they see the child needs a break, they go and give them therapy on the swings and on the, what's that therapy blanket that hangs from the ceiling,
Like a hammock.
like a
okay.
hammock.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got walking beams, for their balancing, and well, it's a whole bunch of things. So they get that every single day, so that they're not, so they can develop those things that they need in their life.
And if there's a parent listening in today, or even in a few months, what is it that they need to know before they come and register their kid or children at the Olive Tree?
Well, they have to see like Dr. Lamb at the university or at Vitrant.
Doctors dealing with neurology,
Yes.
anything to do with the brain. So a diagnosis would have to be key
Yeah.
Okay.
So
to apply into the school.
if
Okay.
they suspect anything, it's better to get a diagnosis. And so if they can get a diagnosis from a doctor or a specialist like we did, then they can write into the school.
And you can use that diagnosis to start from the right basis where the
Yes.
where the child is.
Yes, because every child's file is like different because
Of course, yeah.
because they're on a different level as well.
The
It
spectrum.
depends on
Yeah.
on the spectrum. So it depends where they're at as well. So you can have a 3-year-old that's high functioning and can do amazing maths, and then you can have a 10-year-old like that is at a 3-year-old level. So
Okay.
so everyone is different and everybody gets taught differently.
Speaking of 10-year-olds, from what stage can parents register the child?
From the ages of 3 or 4,
Yeah.
I
until?
know up until grade 9, so that would be
15.
15. Yes, we are. Once the school grows bigger, obviously we will re-register as a high school as well.
Okay.
Yeah, till grade 12.
And there will be future plans as well, because the legacy is obviously for our daughter. So eventually, that there would be a type of community place, Olive Community Hall for adults with autism, So this will basically be her place of work, something that we can be passed on to Olivia, which will be in Potchefstroom, because there's also a big need and awareness within the communities for adults living with autism. And unfortunately, in Southern Africa, it's not given enough attention as it is overseas.
Yeah. I wanted to ask this question specifically, and is what is the most challenging part starting Olive Tree till now? I think one of the things you just mentioned is the awareness of autism. If we can jump into that a bit more, what's the biggest challenges you've been experiencing?
The red tape with the departments, that it takes some time. Everything costs money, so funding initially in the beginning was quite hard, and that's why it's still classed as a private school. If there was more funding and subsidies coming to the Olive Tree School or other schools like that within Southern Africa, those fees could be coming down lower. You could get more students. That's a big one from my side, I think.
Yeah.
And awareness. I don't think awareness is just a problem for us as a school. I think awareness is a problem in general in South Africa. If you look at the cultural divide, where people don't know about autism at all, they would sometimes think that there's something wrong with this child, that the child's bewitched or nothing. So if people were more aware, and there were places where children can go and be tested, so that they at least know their status.
Yeah.
Why does this child behave this way?
More educated on the...
More education, I think, would be key regarding the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
Because I think, up until a few years ago, this wasn't really in your field of scope. And just suddenly everything became, like, your whole vision became on autism perspective. Everything was built on that.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere in that process you realize, but wait a minute, my next door neighbor doesn't really know that there's a whole spectrum regarding autism. It's not just one thing. And I think the awareness helps, but it's not sufficient enough, I think.
Yes. I think you should mention about the students that come from the university. I think that's great.
Yes, so we are listed at the university, so we do get students that come and do their practical.
Okay.
And that's a huge blessing for us, because that really helps us out. And they can also see, especially teachers that are studying special needs education, this so that they can get more experience into not just any other disability, but with autism as well. So we are very grateful for them, grateful for the book to list us as a school, and we really needed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, speaking of Olive Tree, is there any current or upcoming projects that you want to share with the public?
Well, we have the playground project, and then also we're doing advertising on the wall. So it's a very busy street. So we're right next to Habitat, so it's a very busy street. So we want to do advertising, for businesses to advertise on our wall to help us with, and that monies will be used for the school, obviously for stationery, all stationery, and therapy things that the children need. So that will go towards that. Our playground does need upgrading. We have since 2022, we've been putting in playground things, but it doesn't always last.
Okay.
So we'd be grateful if people, even if it's not new, we'll accept anything.
Okay.
Yeah. In a vote of thanks, I guess we must thank the likes of the Rotary Club in Potchefstroom, the Round Table Club. They've helped friends and family, the Anglican Church, the Methodist Church, individuals, friends. A lot of people have climbed in and offered to help, but more help is always great.
Yeah.
As they say, it takes a village to raise a child, but we need the whole bloody village to create this good school and this concept for all our children on the spectrum.
Definitely. Now, if anyone wants to find out a bit more about the olive tree, let's start with the first question. Where is it based in Potchefstroom?
It's in 17 Luke Street, so it's close to West Acres.
And you said right next to...
Which is prime advertising space. So it's right across the Italian restaurant.
Yeah, chapter 2.
Yes.
No, something else. But
Juliet.
Yeah, Julian,
Yeah. So
Not
it's right
across.
Well, there's lots of businesses there, so I'm just saying it's really good advertising space, should anybody be interested. And across the Methodist Church, because we're actually renting the old rectory of the Methodist Church.
Okay.
So where the Reverend used to stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's situated basically in the CBD.
Yeah, next to Habitat.
Next to Habitat.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the location. Any social media platforms?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, and our website is theolivetreeschool.co.za.
Okay. So I think for that alone is enough to know the location, know where they can visit. And registrations, is it open during the year? Is it on
Yes, and they can do it online as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and they can maybe but call or schedule a meeting just to come visit the school, talk to the personnel, just to get a feel of the school. Because I think maybe as a parent you're a bit afraid because this is something you're not familiar with. Like just a normal mainstream school is something completely different.
Yes.
It's just to familiar yourself with how everything works and how it looks and stuff. But we've reached the point where we want to thank you for just sitting with us, talking about autism, and also just thank you for doing the initiative of starting a new school in Potchefstroom. I think regarding not just the red tape and funds, but everything else that went with it, I don't think it was easy.
No.
But a lot of special people, my mom and dad, Rob and Sharon Sharpen, thank you very much. This is really my wife's baby. It's different for moms, and I think it takes a bigger toll on them because the children will tend to cling a lot to the mom. So sometimes it's not like for dad because, during the day she wants nothing to do with me. But in the evening, then Olivia just wants to be with her dad. And I would say to all parents out there, if you've got any inkling in the beginning phases, those certain milestones that your child should be reaching from birth until 1, 2, 3, and you've got any doubt that there's milestones being missed or anything that you need to pick up, just go and find out. And don't be in denial about it, because it sometimes hides itself so well that it does take time to actually identify. Yeah. And you're never ever gonna really hit the nail on the head, because the spectrum is so wide. And each of these children are a gift from God, because if there's anything that I've learned from my daughter, is that she just transcends love to everybody. And that's something we should maybe take from these children. If we could just take a pinch of what they have in their souls and spread it to the rest of the world, I think the world would be a better place.
Wow.
And they're so honest. They are so honest.
Sometimes too honest.
He's not even a teenager phase yet. But Sean and Jacqueline, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Potchefstroom, kyk bietjie uit vir die sosiale media platforms en indien jy voel daar is 'n begeerte in jou wat jy kan sien, jy moet 'n draai maak, jy moet bietjie vra. Gemaak 'n draai by hulle, kontak hulle. Hulle sal jou met oop arms ontvang en saam met jou alles wys hoe alles werk. En tot volgende keer sien ons julle weer hierso, selfde tyd, selfde plek. Asai.